One of the most common questions that we get asked is what to do if you're looking through the fixture library and you can't find the exact fixture that you need. Well, the first place to check is going to be WTOOLS. So WTOOLS is a software that can be downloaded from our website, wolfmix.com/download. Here you can go to the Fixtures tab and you can search through the current library. So this is the most up-to-date version of the fixture library, and it contains over 20,000 fixtures already made, and we make new ones every single day as well. If you still can't find the fixture within this library, you have two options. You can either create an official request for us to make a new file for you. This can be done at profile.nickeloidygroup.com. We'll leave that in the description below. But you can even create your own fixture directly within the Wolfmix. We'll be looking at that today, so let's dive in. The first step is we need to open up the fixture builder. So this can be done in the fixture library by tapping the button at the top. I'm now going to switch over to my browser view. So this is the fixture that we're going to be looking at today. This is the Eliminator Striker Spot, and we're going to be making this from scratch. So firstly, to mention, if you're using a multi-beam fixture, such as an LED bar, you'll want to set the number of beams here. For this fixture, we only need one beam, so we'll keep it at 1. So every single user manual will have something like this for every fixture. So essentially what this does is it tells you what functions the fixture has and what channels are used to control those features. For this fixture, we have two different modes. We have 16-channel mode and 18-channel mode. We'll just be looking at 18-channel mode because it gives us the most control. So let's start by entering all of the channels that we need. So we'll start from channel 1 and we'll work our way down. So I can tap either the touchscreen or the button to begin. So I'll tap the first button to assign this to channel 1. And we'll go and add our pan. Channel 2, we need a fine pan. So I'm going to add a second pan channel, but this time I'm going to enable the micro toggle. So this means that these two channels are now going to work together. So this will be my coarse tuning, and this will be my fine tuning. We'll go to channel 3 and we'll add tilt. Channel 4 is a fine tilt channel. Channel 5, we need a color wheel. Channel 6 is a Gobo wheel. Channel 7, we've got a second Gobo wheel. Channel 8 is Gobo rotation. Then we've got a Prism rotation. We've got a focus channel, which is on the second page. Then a zoom. Next we have a shutter. Then a dimmer on channel 14. Finally, we have some alternative channels. So autoplay, internal programs, pan tilt speed, and reset. So these aren't really used within the Wolfmix, so I'm actually going to just assign these to other channel types. So we're just focusing on the core features that the Wolfmix will need to be able to control the fixture. There we go. So we've got all 18 channels added. Now we can look at setting up each channel so that we have full control over the fixture. So if we now jump into the 3D visualizer, so this is what we're going to be using to program the rest of the fixture. You could do this with the physical fixture itself. You could even try doing this with just the user manual on its own. But for this example, we'll use the visualizer in place of the physical fixture. So the first thing to do is to ensure that the test address you have set here matches whatever you have set on the physical fixture. So if your fixture is set to address 45, make sure that it matches on the Wolfmix. For us, test address 10 is the correct assignment. I can quickly check this by selecting the tilt channel, and I'm just going to send a test value. So we can see that the tilt of this fixture is moving as expected. Let's put this back to the minimum. So I'm going to focus primarily on the channels that are required to view the beam, because of course we can't see any light being emitted at the moment. So I'm going to start with the shutter channel. Now I'm going to send a test value to this, and you can see we've actually got some strobing starting already. So I suspect we'll probably find at value 255, there we go, we have the beam on. So I'll set this to 255. In fact, before I go any further, I'm going to go back and set the tilt to just be down here, just so we can see. Back into the shutter channel, and we'll finish this off. So let's look at the shutter closed preset. So when we set this to value 0, the shutter is closed. We'll now take a look at the strobe minimum. So let's say around 10. So I'm pressing in the encoder to confirm the value. If I keep scrolling this up, we've got faster and faster strobe. Let's go about there. Great. I'm going to go back to beam on. There's closed. There's the minimum strobe. And there's the maximum strobe. Next, we'll look at the dimmer channel. So this already looks to be set up correctly, with the maximum being 255 and the minimum being 0. Okay, so now we can move on to something more complex, like the color wheel channel. So if I start turning this, we'll see some color changes. So we've got a half color here, which is white and red. The Wolfmix doesn't really use half color channels, so I'm going to keep scrolling until we see a solid color. There we go. So at value 15, we have red. So I'll find red and I'll confirm. Keep scrolling until we find the next solid color. We've got amber. And we've got blue. We have yellow. Then magenta. Cyan. Then green. And then we're back to white. So now what I'm looking for is the color wheel rotation, which you can see is happening around here. So this is going in fast to slow. So I'll set the rotation wheel max at 140. And then let's bring the minimum value down to around 215. There we go. We'll go back to white for now. And that's our color wheel setup. If we go into the Gobo channel, we'll set this up in exactly the same way. So we'll keep scrolling until we see a change. Then we can select one of these default shapes that closely matches. So I'll select this one. Let's keep going. So now we've got some swirly effects. Let's say something like that. Maybe we can use this one. Maybe this one. And so we can keep going in the same way. And let's say for this one, we'll use this. So we can keep going and building the Gobo channel like this. I won't go through it all now. I think you get the rough idea. Of course, we have a second Gobo channel as well that we can edit, but I'll leave that one for now as it'll be the exact same process. First, I'm just going to go back to the open Gobo. What else do we have? We've got a Prism channel. So we currently have no Prism, but once we get to about value 10, we have a Prism enabled. Oh, I made a mistake there. I'll put this back to 0. Now I want the Prism on to be value 10. There we go, off and on. So we can go through the rest of the fixture channels, such as Gobo rotation, focus, zoom, all those sorts of things, and we can assign them to whatever we need just by looking at the fixture, seeing what's going on, and then adding the correct function within the Wolfmix. I'm going to leave it at that for now. I think we've got enough to demonstrate what we've done. So we'll give this a name. Confirm, and then we'll press go and save. We can now add this to our project. I need to be sure to assign this to the correct DMX address, which is 10. And there we go. We can now move the fixture around. We can choose the color. And it looks to be working well. So that's how you can create your own fixture directly within your Wolfmix.